Number 1. In this question, you will be asked to talk about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to speak.
What do you think is the most important qualification to be a teacher? Please include specific examples and details in your explanation. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 2. In this question, you will be asked to give an opinion about a familiar topic. After you have the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to speak.
Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? It is important to have a friend with different interests from yourself. Give specific reasons and examples to support your opinion. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 3. In this question, you will read a short passage about a campus situation and then listen to a talk on the same topic. You will then answer using information from both the reading passage and the talk. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
A university is announcing a ban on bicycles on campus. Read the notice about the ban. You will have 45 seconds to read the announcement. Begin reading now. Now listen to two students as they discuss the event.
I totally disagree with the school's ban on bicycles.
Well, I see their point. I know one of the pedestrians who got run over. She still hasn't recovered.
Yeah, but there are many responsible bicyclists out there. The number of reckless riders is really small. The school shouldn't punish most of the riders, like me, who obey safety rules and never come close to getting into accidents.
Perhaps you bicyclists should do a better job of policing your own. You know, get the ones who don't care about safety to be more considerate of others.
Yeah, that's an idea.
Anyway, the school's going to have more buses, so you'll still get to class on time.
I don't think so. I took a look at the new bus schedule.
And?
The buses are still only going to run once or twice an hour. This campus is really huge. There's no way everyone is going to be able to pile into them. I foresee a lot of students being late to class in the future.
Now get ready to answer the question. The man expresses his opinion on the regulation against bicycles. State his opinion and explain the reasons he gives for holding that opinion. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 4. In this question, you will read a short passage on an academic subject and then listen to a talk on the same topic. You will then answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Now read the following passage about animal tameability. You have 45 seconds to read the passage. Begin reading now. Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in a zoology class. As you listen, be sure to take notes.
Why is it that some animals are more easily domesticated than others? For example, why have cows become domesticated but not, lions, for example? Well, there are numerous factors involved in domesticating animals, but I want to focus on a couple of the most important right now. One of the most crucial aspects involved is the animal's disposition. By that, I mean, how pleasant is the animal? Is it aggressive or not? Well, let me compare dogs and wolves. We've domesticated the former, but not the latter. Dogs, in general, have well earned their moniker as man's best friend. Most dogs, not all, but most, have pleasant dispositions and enjoy being around humans. Wolves, on the other hand, tend to be aggressive and may often attack or even kill humans. Another point to consider is how well the animal can adapt to accepting a human as its leader. Dogs are typically very willing to recognize that humans are their, pack leaders, for lack of a better expression. Dogs willingly submit to human leadership. In contrast, though, are wolves. Most wolves will not submit, which makes it virtually impossible for them to be domesticated. Some individual wolves have been domesticated, but as a species, it's all but impossible.
Now get ready to answer the question. The professor describes the difference in trying to domesticate dogs and wolves. Explain how this relates to animal tameability. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 5. In this question, you will listen to a conversation. You will then be asked to talk about the information in the conversation and to give your opinion about the ideas presented. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Now listen to a conversation between two students. Gina, how are the rehearsals going on that play you're putting on soon?
Not so well, to tell you the truth. You wouldn't believe what happened.
Try me.
Well, George and Steve got in a huge fight, and Steve wound up quitting the play. If you remember my telling you, Steve's the lead actor, so we're in kind of a bind since opening night is only 10 days from now.
That's horrible. So what are you thinking of doing?
Well, we've considered letting George take over the acting of Steve's part while still serving as director of the play. That sounds good, but I don't know if George can handle doing everything. Director is a huge role, and so is being the lead actor. It's probably too much for one person.
Yeah, you're probably right. Say, why doesn't someone from your group go and have a talk with Steve? Perhaps you could persuade him not to quit and to rejoin the play.
Maybe, but Steve won't come back unless George apologizes, and that's almost definitely not going to happen. George is convinced he didn't do anything wrong and feels that he has nothing to apologize for.
Ouch. It sounds like things are a real mess. Now get ready to answer the question. The students discuss two possible solutions to the woman's problem. Describe the problem, then state which of the two solutions you prefer and explain why. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Number 6. In this question, you will listen to part of a lecture. You will then be asked to summarize important information from the lecture. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Now listen to part of a lecture in an art history class.
So, that concludes my discussion on medieval painting. Let's move to the Renaissance. There were many differences between medieval and Renaissance paintings, but the biggest was in the use of perspective. In medieval paintings, the pictures were mostly two-dimensional. They never used perspective, but Renaissance artists added perspective, giving their works a three-dimensional aspect. So how did they manage to add perspective to their art? Art historians have two theories. The first is that they began using tools when creating artwork. Some artists would use mirrors when they painted. In some cases, they would reflect, say, a basket of fruit in the mirror and would then actually trace the lines around the reflection of the mirror. This is how many of them learned to draw perspective. Once they traced the lines, they could then transfer their work to the canvas, where they were able to give their art a more three-dimensional appearance. Another school of thought centers on the development of oil paintings. It was only in the 15th century that oil paint was invented. One advantage it had over other paints was that it dried very slowly. Not only that, but oil paints are also translucent, so light is able to shine through the paint. These two factors combined to enable artists to add perspective to their paintings. How? Well, the slow-drying, translucent paints gave artists enough time to create paintings with more depth. They could paint over the first coat by using different colors and shades, thereby producing works that weren't linear, but were instead three-dimensional in appearance. In other words, they were able to build perspective into their paintings thanks to the paint itself.
Now get ready to answer the question. Using points and examples from the lecture, explain the two ways artists in the Renaissance used perspective in their paintings. Please begin speaking after the beep.